Welcome to the greatest podcast in sports betting entertainment. My name is Tanner Kern, certified G, bona fide stud, and you can't teach that. And this right here, this is G Money Grant Mitchell. Today, we are breaking down every big game on the Week 10 slate. We're going to talk a little bit how Bo Nix sucks, and we're going to give you some NBA picks. And you can't teach that. Bada boom, man. The people in the room, G Money Grant Mitchell. How you doing?
I am doing pretty good, Tanner. It's Friday. I was having an argument with someone the other day. I looked out my window. I was doing my work, finishing up the 9 to 5 everything. I looked out my window. It was about 5:30, and it was pitch black outside. So my question to you here is, because I'm looking at my window right now, and we record this in the morning. It's bright and sunny. Do you like waking up when it's brighter, or do you want it to be brighter later in the day?
I want it to be brighter later in the day. I'd rather have it darker in the morning. Now, when you wake up in the morning and it's like 6 a.m. and bright out, it feels okay, but it sucks getting dark at like 4 o'clock. I also get less productive, I think, when it starts to get dark at 4 o'clock.
I'm with you on that. Yeah. So I don't mind waking up in the dark. So I think subconsciously it makes me feel like I'm ahead. Like I'm out there doing stuff while everyone's asleep. You know, that old Mike Tyson thing. Like nobody wants to wake up at 4 a.m., whatever he said. But yeah, I'm with you. When it gets darker earlier in the day, it feels like the day is ending earlier, so I don't have to do the things that I still have to do.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I don't mind it getting dark early at times. Like, it is okay around the holiday. Once Christmas goes, I don't really like it as much. But before Christmas, leading up to it, you got the lights on the street. It's one thing. But after Christmas, it gets a little tiring.
Has your lady started decorating for Christmas yet?
No, not really. Still got a lot of pumpkins out. I gotta get rid of these damn pumpkins. Too much. What's everyone's obsession with pumpkins? They're just ugly gourds.
Are you making a jack-o'-lantern this year?
No, I didn't make a jack-o'-lantern. I'm not cutting into a damn pumpkin. Maybe I didn't paint one this year, but like I would consider painting a pumpkin, but I'm not making a jack-o'-lantern. That's stupid.
Yeah, we painted ones last year. We also already have our Christmas decorations up. We have 3 Christmas trees this year.
That's insane. That's too much. Too much.
It wasn't my idea. Let me just say that. It wasn't my idea.
I do agree though with getting Christmas trees up early, because you don't get them for that long. So like the people that put them up after Thanksgiving, you only get them for a month. And then everyone's like, oh, I'll leave it up till the middle of January. Like, no, like once Christmas is done, like, let's go. Time to pack up, New Year's resolution, start carrying some logs and boats.
See, I was carrying logs and boats. I was always in the crowd of the Christmas tree goes up after Thanksgiving, but my girl doesn't see it that way, which means I don't see it that way anymore either. She makes the decisions on that.
There you go, Grant. There you go. Well, we make the decisions on this podcast. That's what we do. We got a big show for the people today. That was a hell of a segue by me. But anyways, we're going to talk a little Monday Night Football, just break down, or Thursday Night Football, break down, what we saw last night, because I think it's interesting. Grant's a big Bo Nix hater. We're going to break down some games as well, and then we're going to talk NBA and all that. So can't wait to do that. Before we get into it, make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel, Ride the Line, right here. Smash the subscribe button, share the pod, comment, drop your picks in the chat. We love seeing it. And then also make sure you guys check out WSN.com. Grant, tell the people why they need to check out WSN.com.
100%. Guys, if you are listening to this, we're only a couple of minutes into the episode. We got a long way to go, but whether we are on here, whether it's a day where we're not, you're looking for some advice. Who do I bet on today? Go to WSN.com. Myself, Tanner, a team of experts. We're writing down betting picks from every game and every major sport. We also got promo codes for the sports books. So if you go to BetMGM, you can get a $1,500 new user bonus in the form of bonus bets. If you go to Fanatics, you can make that up to $2,000 in fan cash. We got the deals for Kalshi, the prediction platforms, everything that can make you have a more enjoyable and a more profitable betting experience. We do have it over there, WSN.com. So make sure you check it out.
The World Sports Network. Anyways, quickly here, spend a couple minutes on Thursday Night Football, what we saw, because the Broncos are allegedly a Super Bowl contender. I couldn't get over how much people are blowing the Broncos. Everyone's like, oh, they're glazing them. That's what the young kids say in today's world. But the Broncos are a legitimate team. The Broncos are going to win a Super Bowl. The Broncos are, going to the AFC Championship game, blah, 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 because their defense, like the whole Prime broadcast, it didn't talk about anything related to the Las Vegas Raiders. It was all about how good the Broncos are. This team is not that good at football. And I think Sean Payton's not a great offensive coordinator at this point in his career.
So that was my fear when the Broncos hired him in the first place. When we saw the early returns with Russell Wilson, I was like, okay, why are we positive Sean Payton's a great coach? Because the end of his time with the Saints didn't go great. And then he goes to the booth, takes some time off, and then he comes back and it's not. And everything we knew about Sean Payton when he was in his heyday with the Saints was offensive genius, always could never get the defense right. So now, where his defense is arguably the best in the NFL, the Broncos defense is legit. It's the offense that can't get it right. And you can assign blame to the quarterback for that. But it kind of speaks to what you're saying, that this team, to win a Super Bowl, to be a true contender, you got to fire on all phases. Everybody's got to be together, consistency. And the Broncos just don't have that. Yes, they scored 44 points against the Cowboys. The Cowboys will let any team in the NFL do that. Other than that, I've been saying it all year. Bo Nix has been very, very bad this year. And you saw it again. One of the interceptions, Troy Franklin dropped it, was a little behind him, still should have made the catch. But Bo Nix was terrible in this game. He's been terrible in most games this season. So when you look at their schedule, the teams they've beaten, they beat the Titans, they beat the Bengals, they beat the Eagles, which is a great win. I'll give that to them. They beat the Jets by 1 or 2 points in a game in which Justin Fields had 45 yards. They beat the Giants by 1. They did beat the Cowboys, but they're also a losing team. They beat the Texans. They beat the Raiders. These are not good wins. So when they do play the Chiefs next week, they got the Packers in a month. They got the Chiefs and the Chargers in week 17 and 18. That's where you actually are going to learn something about the Broncos.
Oh, they got a brutal stretch coming up here. And they're not that good of a football team, I think. I mean, defensively, they're really good. Offensively, they had so many moments last night. You get the block punt, you got to find a way. They capitalized on that, right, with touchdown, but then you had the pick, which led to the field goal at the end, right? It was 1 or 1. I forget which one led to the touchdown, which one led to the field goal. I wasn't really paying attention too much to that because I was like, I got Raiders 10.5, so this should be fine. But ultimately, the Broncos should have won that game by, I would say, about 10 points, at least, probably 17 points if they just came out and scored a little bit on offense. They didn't get a first down until like 5 minutes to go in the second quarter, I think.
I mean, Geno Smith's QBR, and QBR is not everything, but Geno Smith's QBR in this game was 13.
He's dumb too. He's terrible.
But when the opposing quarterback's QBR is 13, how do you win by 3 points?
Well, Bo Nix couldn't have been that good either. The only good thing Bo Nix does is when he gets a running start to the line of scrimmage and then throws the ball. Like, that's his best throw. Like, he's finds a way to avoid pressure, gets a running start and chucks it down the field. Now, one of those did lead to a pick, which was probably the dumbest throw I've ever seen in my life. The dumbest play call I've ever seen in my life happened last night too, with Sean Payton on 3rd and 1 from the 40 going in, and then you run the wide receiver pass and that blows up in your face, and you are moving the ball on them. Like, so it just didn't make any sense last night. I think this Broncos team is going to come back to earth though with the schedule coming up, and we can read off here, which you did already. But so they're going to final record. They're 8-2 right now. They're going to lose to the Chiefs. They're going to be 8-3. You're going to beat the Commanders. You're 9-3. Raiders in Las Vegas. What do you think there? They
should win, but it wouldn't be impressive.
All right, so 10-3. You're going to lose to the Pack, even though I think the Pack are trash too. So you're 10-4. You might lose to the Jaguars at home. I'll say that, but I'll give you the win there. 11-4. I think you get swept by the Chiefs, honestly. So 11-5, and then you finish with the Chargers 11-6. Like, this team could easily be 11-6, or they could be one of the best teams in the NFL if you split with the Chiefs and steal one against the Chargers. So we'll see what happens, but they're an early exit in the playoffs in my mind.
100%. I don't think they'll win a game. Well, matter of fact, why don't we look at the playoff bracket? Let me just pull this up here. So, as it stands, the Broncos are the 1 seed in the AFC. They would play the Jags in the first round. The Colts and the Patriots would pass the Broncos if they win this week.
Well, they'd get the bye, right?
Yes, you're right. They would get the bye. So they would get the winner of Colts Jags, but just some of the other, I mean, right now the Chiefs aren't in the playoffs. They'll be in the playoffs. Right now the Ravens aren't in. They have a chance. Not going to say they will be in it, but I mean, the AFC is open this year, and the Colts took advantage of that. That's why they traded for Sauce Gardner. So I guess theoretically, do I know the Colts would beat the Broncos in the playoffs? No, I don't know that. Do I know the Steelers would? Do I know the Patriots would? No, I guess I don't. But there's no chance this team is getting to the Super Bowl. No chance.
I mean, when you look at the AFC right now, it's the Bills or the Chiefs in my mind. Or the Ravens.
There's nobody else. It has to be.
Like, and honestly, I don't think the Ravens are going to lose this weekend. But if they do lose this weekend, they're not going to the playoffs.
No.
And this is more, it would, nothing in the world would surprise me if the Ravens lost one of these games to like a team like the Vikings, because the Vikings can still compete on defense. But yeah, in the AFC right now, like, what do you think of the Patriots? Are the Patriots a team that can do something? The Colts?
Like you said, I think there's going to be teams who just kind of coin flip their way to the divisional round. And then one of them will get slaughtered by the Bills. The other one will get slaughtered by the Chiefs. And that will be the AFC Championship game.
I think the Pats are good enough to beat the Bills, though, in a big game. I really do, especially if they get them at home, which we'll see what happens. But, you know, if the worst thing for the Patriots, I think, would be to beat the Bills at home in their next game, because then in the playoffs, it would be like 0-2 going up against them. But I think the Patriots could beat the Bills. I think the Colts can beat anybody. I don't know if they can beat the Chiefs. It's the Chiefs. It's the Chiefs conference to win this year, more than it was even last year.
I guess I gotta reprogram how I think about the Colts now that they have Sauce Gardner, because that does change a lot. Like, that's a big deal.
You got to be able to throw the ball and run the ball effectively, which they're going to have no problem running the ball. I think, you know, Daniel Jones in the playoff game, we'll see. But this isn't the Daniel Jones that we know and love from New York either. This is a new version of him.
I mean, he was last week.
Yeah, but you're going to have those games.
You're gonna have a 5 turnover game.
Yeah, you're going to have those games for sure. You're going to have those games. They happen. I mean, you have one bad game and you move on. And that's what we've seen. I mean, now the great quarterbacks probably have less of those, or the bad games aren't that bad. Like Drake May, the greatest quarterback to ever play the game, he had a bad performance last week, and it still was okay. He still threw for close to 300, had a pick or a fumble, you know, threw a touchdown. He was good. So
yeah, I'm looking at the Broncos right now. They had the second easiest strength of schedule in the AFC. Do they have it for the whole NFL as well? Second easiest strength of schedule in the AFC, third easiest in the NFL. The Patriots had the easiest, by the way. And then the Broncos' strength of victory is the lowest in the NFL, aside from the Saints and the Jets, both of whom have 1 win.
Well, look at the Pats, though. Like, and I'll tip my cap with the Pats. They're playing bad teams and they're beating them into the ground. I mean, last week didn't happen.
That's the difference between them and the Broncos. The Patriots are slaughtering the bad teams. The Broncos are winning by 1 point.
Nobody after the games are going to Twitter and being like, they're like, the Patriots have an easy schedule, but nobody's like, they're not that good of a football team, because they are beating these teams by 100 every week, where the Broncos aren't beating anybody by 100. So everyone's saying, oh, they're not that good of a football team at 8-2. Nobody's saying the Patriots aren't a good 7-2 football team right now. Nobody's saying that. They're just saying they have an easy schedule. The Broncos, it's like, they're not that good and they have an easy schedule because they're not winning like they should be winning.
100%.
Anyways, Grant, we got some games to talk about. Why don't you segue us in there?
Big slate of games on Sunday. Tanner and I are here to be breaking down some of the best player prop picks, the major markets, all the great stuff, every angle you can attack it from. That's what we're looking at for these games here. And we're going to start off by talking about a big one, the Tanner Kern Derby, if you will. It's the New England Patriots against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tanner has vested interests in both of these teams, so I think it's only appropriate you tell us how you think this game's going to go.
I wish I was going to this one. I really do. I thought when it came out, I was going to be going, and then unfortunately had to work, so couldn't make it. My parents were supposed to go, and then the flights kind of derailed that. So nobody's going to be at this game. No Kerns will be in attendance, but it should be a very fun one. Tampa Bay Buccaneers favored by 2.5 against the New England Patriots here. Patriots more than capable of winning this game. I think the Bucs will win the game. I think they'll cover in the game. You know, we talked about it. Bye weeks mean so much in the NFL. Tampa Bay is coming off a bye week. They're still not that healthy. That's my biggest concern right now. You don't have Bucky Irving. You don't have Chris Godwin. Those are 2 guys that I think a lot of people expected to be back for this game. But I don't need them back in this game. Like, this is one, I'd rather save those guys for the division games. But still, when you look at what they have from a running standpoint, you have Rachaad White. On the receiving side, you have Emeka Egbuka, Tez Johnson, you have Sterling Shepard, K-Dot, and like, you can survive with what you have, and they've been able to win games with that group. You know, Emeka Egbuka and Tez Johnson are just total difference makers right now for this team. On the Patriots side, you got a great quarterback in Drake May. You got a team that's been really efficient, but they haven't played against anybody solid. I mean, they beat the Bills, and the Bills just didn't play well in that game, but it's still a good win for them. I just think the Bucs are a better football team coming off a bye week. This is one that, Baker should be ready to go in. And Drake May, he did come back to earth a little bit against the Falcons last week at home. I think he really comes back to earth this week against Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's going to make some plays, but you look at this Buccaneers defense, they get after the quarterback. They're going to be aggressive. They're going to be violent. And if they do that, chances are they're gonna cool down the Drake May show a little bit.
Yeah, Drake May. So I remember seeing a stat, and I think we talked about it on the show, but going back a couple of weeks when they played the Browns, and as we know, the Browns have a phenomenal defense every year. They just never have the offense to support them. Drake May had like the second best performance against the Browns defense in the era of the coordinator whose name I'm blanking on, Schwartz. He was really good. He's proven that against these defenses. He had a good game against the Bills, had a really good day against the Panthers, and the Panthers are actually a good team, believe it or not. Falcons do have a good defense. It's the problem is these teams never have the offense to put the Patriots offense under pressure. Yeah. And that sounds weird because the offense plays defense. Offense doesn't play offense, but the Patriots are able to go out there kind of free-spirited, not worry like, okay, we need to score here or we need to possess the ball we have to have a 10-minute drive. We need to do these things. They haven't faced that yet. The Buccaneers defense does have holes, but that's because they are aggressive. So they will get a big stop on 3rd and 1. They will sack the quarterback. They will hit somebody hard and pop the ball out. They'll do stuff like that, and they'll go big play for big play. But then on offense, they can score points with the best teams in the NFL. So that's the difference in this game. Aside from really any game the Patriots have played this year, aside from that Bills game, which is a great win for the Patriots, not taking that away from them. But it's been over a month since they've had that. Like you mentioned, Buccaneers coming off a bye week at home. It just sets up to be in their favor for me. I think they'll be sharp, whereas the Patriots are walking into a situation they're not totally familiar with right now.
Yeah, and this is a must-win for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Every game's a must-win in the NFL, but when you look at the schedule, you're going to play New England at home. Then you go to Buffalo, you go to L.A. That's a rough stretch there. You get the Cardinals at home, should be fine there. And then you get into a relatively easy stretch. You get the Saints, Falcons, Panthers twice, probably split those games. But this one really is going to help decide the division because if you lose this, you could lose to Buffalo, you could lose to the Rams. You're on a 3-game losing streak going into must-win division games with the Panthers right on your butt. So yeah, I think we're going to see desperation play from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they find a way to get it done.
Well, on that note, Tanner, let me tell you about my first player prop pick for this game. We're going to go with the one, the only Baker Mayfield in the matchup of two spunky white quarterbacks from Tanner's favorite teams. Again, the Tom Brady pipeline here. Drake May is the guy who's getting the MVP hype. It was Baker early in the year, totally went away after that Lions game. I think he's not going to re-enter the MVP conversations, but I think he's going to get the better of the two quarterbacks in this matchup. Over 242.5 passing yards. That's what I'm looking at for Baker in this game. He only had 152 in his last game against the Saints. The Bucs totally shut their offense down. Saints scored 3 points. There was no need to even really try. Aside from that, yes, Baker has trended under this line recently. He had 228 against the Lions before that, but he did clear the over in 3 straight games before that. You're coming up against an opponent that will take those deep shots down the field. Drake May has been the best deep ball passer in the NFL, so you've got to have an element of explosiveness built into your game plan. That's kind of what you're coming into this game with this mindset of. And Baker will rip the ball. He might throw an interception here and there, but he might also have a 70-yard touchdown to Emeka Egbuka. So give me over 242.5. Big day for Baker.
I like that. I do think Drake May is going to have more passing yards in this game personally. I think the Bucs are going to try to run the football and control clock and just, chip away where the Patriots might be playing from behind a little bit more than they usually do. So I'd lean Drake May over 242.5 as well. And I think if you're looking at just the most passing yards market, I would lean towards Drake May 2 there for -113. That's always a fun one. But I think Drake May is going to throw an interception in this game. +126. He's thrown 4 picks on the season. He's got picks in back-to-back games. Now you're on the road against probably one of the best teams you faced all year and the toughest spot you've been in all year. And you're going against a team that's going to get pressure on the quarterback against a really good Todd Bowles coach defense. We know he knows how to scheme up young quarterbacks. So I think Drake May to throw an interception for plus money based on the past 2 weeks is pretty high value play.
I actually really like that. You've been money with your quarterback interception props on this channel. The Bucks are 11th in the NFL in turnover or interception percentage, so just a hair outside the top 10. So an opportunistic defense. That makes sense to me.
Plus 126. I mean, come on. Love that.
Yeah,
Absolutely love that.
good odds there. My second pick, I'm going to take Travion Henderson under 54.5 rushing yards. So I do really like Travion, and I was confused why they weren't giving him the ball early in the season. And then Antonio Gibson tore his ACL, and he got even fewer carries. And then there were the rumors they're trading for running back at the deadline. I'm like, all right, what is going on? Well, they have given him a bigger workload. 2 weeks ago against the Browns, 10 carries. Last week against the Falcons, 14 carries. So you are seeing that start to trend up. However, the Buccaneers have an outstanding run defense, just as they seem to have had for like 4 or 5 straight years now, holding opponents under 4 yards per carry. They're down at 3.9. And again, the way this game shapes up, I wouldn't mind a Travion over on receiving or something like that. But I do think this is going to be a matchup dominated by the quarterbacks. I like Baker to go over. You said Drake May is going to have more passing yards than him. We both think it's going to be a quarterback day. So naturally, I just think it's a slower day for Travion. You can't have it both ways.
I do think it's going to be a quarterback day, but I like the play idea. I think Drake May is going to have to throw the ball in this game, so I do think he's going to have a little bit of a decline there. But the reason I was on Drake May to have the most passing yards in the game, because I do think the Buccaneers come out and run the football. The thing with this Patriots team is they haven't given up a 50-yard rusher all season or something like that. It's a crazy number. You know what? Who's going to have a 50-yard week this week? Rachaad White. They're going to come out and absolutely pound the rock, because that's how you enforce your will on your opponent. You got to run the ball to open up the passing game. And I think the Buccaneers make it a point this week to come out and run the football. So you look at Rachaad White, 13 for 35, 10 for 38, 17 for 65. Haven't had the biggest numbers, but I think this week is one where he can go over. And there's no real lean for it. Like, the Patriots defense is great. Like, you can't defend it off how good the Patriots defense has been. But 43.5 is a low enough total, or if he rips off a few big runs and the Bucs have control of this football game, he's going to continue to get carries.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. My final pick, I'll take Emeka Egbuka, anytime touchdown score. Fun little nugget, by the way, because I saw this the other day, and this relates to Egbuka. But Jeremiah Smith Jr. is halfway through his sophomore year at Ohio State, and he's something like 70 catches, 800 yards, and 11 touchdowns from being Ohio State's all-time leading receiver in all 3 categories. Halfway through his sophomore year. When you consider everyone Ohio State's had, that's crazy.
Well, what's crazy too? Like, I don't even think about Jeremiah Smith. I don't think about Ohio State. I think about the SEC. Like, that name hasn't even rung a bell in my head this season because I just don't watch Ohio State.
Yeah, that's fair. But the all-time leader at Ohio State there is Emeka Egbuka, which is why I brought that up. So anytime touchdown scorer plus 120. We've said it a million times now. We think it's going to be a quarterback-driven game. Someone's got to catch the ball. Egbuka is clearly the number 1 target in this Bucs offense. And you know what? Even if Mike Evans was healthy, even if everyone is healthy, Egbuka is the best receiver they have. Doesn't matter. So now he has scored in half of the Bucs games this year, 4 of 8, or they might have played 9. I think he missed one with an injury. Half the games he's played in, he scored. Did not score in 3 straight weeks. However, I will shoot him some bail. So the first of that 3-game stretch, right after he came back from injury, probably came back a little too quickly. Only had 2 catches for 24 yards against the Niners. He does get 12 targets against the Lions. I think the Bucs only scored 1 touchdown in that game. And then last week against the Saints, I said it, he only had 3 catches for 35 yards, but he got 9 targets in a game where Baker didn't even really throw the ball. He got 9 targets from Baker's 24 passes for 150 yards. So he's the number 1 target in this offense. Probably going to be a high-scoring game. Probably going to be a quarterback-driven game. Egbuka scores.
I agree with that. I think Diggs, Mr. Stephon Diggs, is going to have a big game too. I think he could find the end zone. He's tough to bet on because, some weeks he's going to pop off with yards. Other weeks it's going to be the touchdown. Usually, so far it's like big yardage game means no touchdowns. And then when he has a low yardage game, it means touchdown. I think Diggs goes off in this game. I think he goes over 54.5 receiving yards here. Again, Drake May is going to have to throw the football. Diggs seems to step up in these big games, get the ball to him early. I think that's going to be one of Drake May's favorite targets in this one. You could also look at Pop Douglas over 39.5. All these guys kind of got to go over their overs for him to hit what he needs to hit. Also another one too, Mac Hollins, 26.5. Like these are just plays that for Drake May to go over and for this game to have the narrative that we think it's going to have. Realistically, Diggs, Douglas, and Hunter Henry, probably, maybe Matt Collins. They all kind of have to go over their yards in this one. So Diggs low enough where I'll take the chance on the over.
And then are we both going Bucks win this game?
Yeah, I think Bucks win it. I think they have to win it. There's no other option. I think it's going to be tight. I think Patriots are probably going to be in a position where they can win the game down the stretch, but the Bucks just get it done.
Are you laying the 2.5 or just taking the money line?
I'll take the money line. The money line.
Yeah, I'm with you. Let's move on over and let's talk about the San Francisco 49ers versus the Los Angeles Rams. Tanner and I are here to give you our best betting picks from this NFC West thriller. Brock Purdy expected to make his return to the lineup. Is that a mistake with the way that Mac Jones had played? That's a good question to start it off. What do we think there?
No. I mean, you're paying Brock Purdy millions and millions of dollars. That's your starting quarterback. That's your guy. And everyone's like, oh, there's quarterback controversy. Like Dan Orlovsky was saying this on ESPN the other day.
Wow, we're not a Dan Orlovsky fan here.
I didn't like this. Like, be smarter. And I like Dano. Like, Dano is my favorite player at UConn. Like, I'm a big UConn guy. Like, I love Dano. But come on, man. Like, there's a quarterback controversy. You just gave Brock Purdy $1 million extension, millions and millions of dollars. Like, that's how you make decisions in the NFL. Who's making the most money? We've seen what the Mac Jones experience looks like as a starting quarterback. He's not a starting quarterback. He's a great backup option. He's played really well. But honestly, Mac's done everything he's needed to do. He's made big throws, but it's been Christian McCaffrey. Like, this offense goes as Christian McCaffrey goes. Yeah, it has been. Look at the numbers. It's Christian.
His longest run this season is 16 yards.
Grant, what are you talking about? Look at just his production.
Look, they give him the ball a lot as a rusher, as a receiver. He carries a lot, but he's not changing the game. He's just
he is 28. I mean, he had 28 for 106 last week, and he had 5 catches, 67 yards. I mean, he's doing close to 200 yards.
Again, they give him the ball basically every play. So his raw numbers are going to look good, and he gets credit for being consistent, but he's not changing the game with these explosive plays like he was when he was younger.
Grant, it's going back to October 2nd. He has caught 82 yards, 57 yards, 72 yards, 43 yards, and 67 yards. If you remove those from Mac Jones' stats, those check down throws, his stats look a lot worse.
You're not paying attention to what I'm saying.
No, I'm paying attention to what
you're giving him the ball a lot, so his raw yardage looks good.
He has won the games.
He's not been incredible. He's not been making amazing plays. He's just very consistent.
He's going to get you close to 200 yards of offense on a good day for you.
So how do we even get on this?
Mac Jones, 235, 193, 152, 347, 342. Okay, so take away 70 of McCaffrey's receiving yards off of 193 or 235.
He would have thrown it to someone else. We can't just do that.
Mac's not. I mean, Mac's thrown what? He's got 10 touchdowns, 5 picks. He's middle of the road in passing. Come on. Let's take McCaffrey off this offense, and they're not good. It's McCaffrey.
McCaffrey is a great player who's doing a lot for them. Again, I'm not arguing with that. I'm just saying he's not been amazing. He's just getting a lot of touches.
Do you think Brock Purdy should be the starting quarterback, though?
I think he should, and he will be. I think he should be, going back to what you said about the money, because they did pay him that money. I think they could learn out in the next month of football that he's no better than Mac Jones. And at that point, you can trade him and save $40 million.
Yeah, but do you want Mac Jones to be the face of your franchise moving forward? I don't know.
I want Mac Jones to be the face of my franchise just as much as I want Brock Purdy. Maybe even more.
Brock Purdy's taking them to the Super Bowl, though.
No, the team took them to the Super Bowl, and Brock Purdy was on the team.
Well, I guess that's the Kyle Shanahan offense then. You need Christian McCaffrey. That's who's taking you to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah,
McCaffrey's the most important player on that offense for sure.
That's the thing. So you can put any quarterback in there, and they're going to play well. This team has not been carried by Mac.
That's the point I'm making. You can put any quarterback there. So them paying $50 million to Brock Purdy was a massive mistake.
I don't know if it's a massive mistake because you need no matter who your starting quarterback is, you need to pay them in that ballpark. Whether it's $40 million a year, $50 million a year. I mean, 40 versus 50 is a big difference, but you can't go in and be like, okay, we're going to be Mac Jones this time until he gets a $30 or $40 million deal somewhere else. Then we're going to bring the next guy in and the next guy. You got to pay a quarterback.
I disagree. I think they could have, they might as well have taken a flyer. they could have traded a 7th round pick or something, probably a little bit more than that, but they could have tried to get Anthony Richardson or just somebody who has athletic talent. It doesn't have to be him. It doesn't have to be him.
Richardson.
It doesn't have to be him, Tanner. I'm saying take somebody with some sort of talent. Like Purdy was a 7th rounder. Jones was a 1st rounder. And Jones has stepped in. He's looked better in this offense than Purdy has. That's just the reality of it.
Well,
it's all down to system. It's all down to system. I don't think Mac Jones is good, but I also don't think Brock Purdy would be any good if he left the Niners either.
The biggest thing is you need a quarterback who doesn't turn the ball over. Like you just need a quarterback. You need you need your prototypical quarterback. Like Jimmy Garoppolo was good in this system too. They're all
right.
Yeah.
So to what you were saying about you got to pay somebody, you can't just keep looking for a quarterback. I disagree for this team in particular. I think they should have kept cycling. We're going to give you 3-4 years. And if you're not amazing, if you're just anything else we could find, I've seen Nick Mullins look okay in this offense. I've seen CJ Beathard look okay in this offense.
It's not 3-4. That's not how the game works. Like if you're Mac Jones, how many years is he under contract here for? I'm not even sure.
I think he's probably free agent at the end of the year.
He's going to go get a $30 million deal somewhere. Like that's just what he's going to be. Somebody's replacement quarterback next season. So if you keep shuffling these guys through, eventually you got to pay somebody $30 to $50 million a year. That's what you got to do. So
I would have rather paid Mac Jones 30 than Brock Purdy 50.
But you didn't know that until this year. Like Mac Jones, the only reason Mac Jones is getting this opportunity is because a guy got hurt.
And that's fair, but I have been saying this for years. I've been saying don't pay Brock Purdy. It's a mistake.
Well, I don't know if it's a mistake. It's what you need in your offense, I guess. Like you could have gone $40 million for somebody else, but like who else is available? You could have got Darnold, what Darnold.
They had Darnold. He was on their team.
I know, but you didn't see him become the guy. Like you can't, like Darnold became a guy somewhere else. He was on their team, but if you don't see him in a game make these plays, like you don't know what he's going to do. Like these are revolving door quarterbacks. There's a few like Geno Smith. You want Geno Smith on your team? No, but that's the kind of guy that you're going to get if you don't pay.
Geno Smith would be better than Brock Purdy would be for the Niners.
No. Geno is borderline dumb.
I think anybody with a level of competency can look exactly how Brock Purdy has.
Geno has no competency.
You put Brock Purdy on the Raiders, he's doing exactly what Geno's doing.
No, he's probably protecting the ball a little more. Brock Purdy's pretty efficient with the ball. He is pretty efficient. He's more efficient than Geno. Geno just throws it to the other team half the time.
Brock Purdy this season has 4 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. Last year he had 20 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. That's not protecting the football.
Go back to the year before.
31-11.
There you go.
The good year.
You can't judge Brock Purdy this year. He's only played in 2 games.
What am I supposed to judge him off of?
277, 309. They don't have a ton of receiving talent. You got to pay the guy. You got to pay somebody, Grant. If you don't pay anybody, you got no solidarity.
It's a mistake by the franchise. Keep track of the quarterback.
This is another thing. This is the last thing I'll say because we got to move on here. But the quarterback is the most important person in your locker room, on your team. You need some solidarity. You need a good leader in there. You can't be getting a new Mac Jones every 2 years. It just doesn't help the team. Like you want a franchise quarterback. So you're not just paying him to make the plays on the field. You're paying him to be the guy in the locker room.
You think Brock Purdy's the guy in the locker room?
I do. I think they respond to him. I think the 7th round pick who took him to the Super Bowl, I think people respond to him. Yeah. No matter who it is, it could be Mac Jones. I don't care. Whoever it is, you need to invest in a quarterback for a long period of time or a 4 or 5 year period in order to get them to lead your locker room, in order to get them to learn your system and have some solidarity there. A coach doesn't want to restart with a new quarterback every 2 years.
Well, despite everything I said, I'm taking Brock Purdy over 249.5 in this game.
There it is.
Despite everything I said, because Brock Purdy, first game of the season, comes out swinging for 277 against the Seahawks. Next week against the Jags, actually not next week because he got injured in that game, but next game has 309 against the Jags. Mac Jones, as you were pointing out, Mac Jones is ripping off 300-yard games, 270-yard games. He was putting up numbers, and it's because of the offense. That's my whole point here. It's a system thing, but most people are going to look at this and think this is a big line for a guy who's coming back off an injury. Yep, you're totally right, but the system allows for it to happen. He might throw some interceptions, but he's going to have the yards as well. And then on the flip side, the Rams are going to put him under pressure. The Rams defense is great, But Stafford, the way that he is cooking right now with Puka back in there, with Devontae dominating the red zone, the Rams are going to score points. And I know that Shanahan owns the McVay matchup, but the Rams are still going to move the ball, and that's going to force the 49ers to try to move the ball. And with Christian McCaffrey, like I said, consistent but not explosive at all. His longest rush this season is 16 yards. You're going to need to throw the ball to generate those explosive plays. So give me the Purdy over and then trade him and sign a new quarterback in the offseason.
He's doing that with an old offensive line, though.
So,
yeah, it's not just, if you don't block for him, he ain't going to get more than 16 yards. You could bring Brock Purdy, but you could trade Brock Purdy. You still got to pay Mac Jones a good chunk of money, Grant. Still got to pay him.
What props you got for this game?
CMC over 119.5 rushing plus receiving yards. Again, we talk about it. It's amazing this man doesn't get hurt with how much he actually touches the football.
Well, he does get hurt.
He hasn't gotten hurt this year. He's had one injury-prone season, Grant. The man touches the ball 40-something times a game.
He had Achilles tendonitis in both Achilles last year.
That's 1 year, though. 1 year.
Come on. McCaffrey was the whole stigma around him was he's injured all the time.
You're right. Well, once he got to the 49ers, though, low-key, he's been really good. He got injured in Carolina because he didn't want to be there. I don't even consider CMC Carolina. I don't even remember that version of him. 11 games in 2022. He played in 17 games, honestly, between both. Then he played in another 16 the next year. And then last year, the bad season. Now he's healthy this year. So he's been healthy 3 or 4 years, Grant, for a team that's contending for actual championships. So I don't want to bring the injury bug back. He doesn't get hurt. 119.5 for the combined total there. He's been fantastic this season. Again, it's just bulk. Eventually, the rock's going to break if you keep giving him the football. Last time out against the Rams, let's see here, he had 57 rushing yards, 82 receiving yards. You could take his receiving yards over at 51.5. I think they're going to have to dink and dunk to him just to, because the Rams defense is going to put Purdy under pressure here. They're going to have to get him the ball quick.
Yep, I think that's a smart play. McCaffrey is the offense. I will take Kieran Williams, anytime touchdown scorer. Now, he has scored touchdowns, and he's got 6 total touchdowns. I'm just trying to count how many games he scored. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He scored in 5 of 8 games so far. You're getting these odds for decent value, I think around plus 120. Now, that's not amazing, but when you consider that Puka's minus 160 and Devontae's minus 150, Kieran Williams is just as likely to score as any of these guys. Like I mentioned, he's got 6 touchdowns on the year. Puka's got 3. Puka's got 4 because he ran one in. Devontae's got 8, so he's been the main target in the red zone lately. But point being, there's a clear divide in value there, whereas Kieran Williams is going to get the opportunities. The Rams love to run it when they get down to the goal line, so I think he will end up scoring in this game.
I like that. The touchdown score I'm going with is George Kittle. This feels like a George Kittle anytime touchdown game for me. Has 2 on the season so far, 12 receptions, 100 yards. It's not been healthy for obviously every game out there, but Brock Purdy loves getting the ball to him. I think we're going to see that. And also around the goal line, if you're the Rams, the one guy that can't beat you in this game, who did beat you last time when the Rams did lose to the 49ers, was Christian McCaffrey. Somebody else has got to step up. There's not a lot of depth for the San Francisco 49ers right now. So I think if you're going to leave one guy open, or you're going to leave one guy in one-on-one coverage with the linebacker, it's going to be George Kittle. You need to have eyes on McCaffrey throughout this entire game. I still think he's going to make plays, but when it comes to scoring, give me George Kittle.
I don't have any more props. You got any more? You good?
Who wins? We didn't talk about that.
I'll take the Rams.
Rams to cover.
So what we're at 4.5. Is that right?
I'll take the 49ers to cover at home.
Yeah, I hate doing this because it's a small spread. I would take Rams money line, 49ers spread. That's how I would see it playing out.
Feels like a 3 or 4 point game. All right. So we're moving into the primetime games here. We got the Steelers and the Chargers, Sunday night football, big game. Steelers coming off a huge win against the Indianapolis Colts. Now they got to fly across the country to face a Chargers team that, they spend more time partying at Dodgers games than they do learn their playbook. So this will be an interesting one, Grant. How do you see it playing out?
Poor Justin Herbert, man.
He sucks. He sucks.
He's playing with 7th and 8th string offensive linemen. Joe Alt's out for the year again. Like, I just feel bad for him. They've at least tried to give him some receivers recently, which is good because they were just kind of leaving him there and saying, hey, go do what you do on your own. But without the offensive lineman, Mike Tomlin's a great defensive coordinator. The Steelers defense has sucked this year. I get it, but they forced 5 turnovers off of Daniel Jones last week. Also, Jalen Ramsey apparently has been training full-time at safety. So we're going to see how that move, see what that does for his career, what it does for this defense. Herbert has turned the ball over in 3 straight games, and 6 of his last 7. He only had 3 interceptions all of last year. He's already got 8 this year. But part of that, I think, is a reflection of him just being asked to do everything for this offense.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I don't think he's never reached the peak of where he should be as the quarterback. Like, he is the most unhated, good quarterback. I don't even know how to say it, but he's a guy who he could be so much better than he actually is. And I think because of his body type and his frame, we think he's better than he is, but he's not a great quarterback. Like, I don't want Justin Herbert as my quarterback. I don't want my franchise to have Justin Herbert. I don't know if you feel that way. I'm sure, Jaden Daniels, you love Jaden, but like, I would not want the Patriots or the Buccaneers to have Justin Herbert as their quarterback.
I mean, I wish Jaden was 6'5", 240 like Herbert was.
Yeah, of course. I wish I had a quarterback with that frame, but Justin Herbert's not that guy.
He hasn't proven it.
He has not proven it.
He's got all the talent in the world. He just doesn't have the moment right.
I'd rather have Aaron Rodgers than Justin Herbert on my team right now. Personally, right now, this season, I'd rather have Aaron Rodgers.
I can see why you would say that. I don't agree.
Justin Herbert's trash. Like, and you know what, too? You know what pissed me off about Justin Herbert? We're spending a little too much time for a guy that hasn't proven anything. We're spending a little too much time with the girlfriend at other team sporting events. Don't you, in the Halloween stuff? Like, truthfully, I'm not like, this isn't a knock on anybody. He's got a young, pretty girlfriend. He can go do whatever he wants. But in the end of the day, what have you proven? You have not proven anything, and you're going to Dodger games when you got a road trip coming up on Sunday. You're celebrating Halloween when you got away games coming up. Come on. Stop. Well,
speaking of the Dodgers, they are booked and busy. I saw some of their guys courtside at the Lakers game. They were at Dancing with the Stars. They had the World Series trophy with them. Those guys are just going anywhere right now.
They deserve to be. I mean, they won a championship. Justin Herbert, like I don't know. It just doesn't look good optically to me that you haven't proven anything. Your team's not that good, and you're at a Dodger game in the middle of the week when you got a road trip on Sunday. It doesn't sit right with me. These guys make too much money to be doing that stuff. Go study your damn playbook. Go take care of your body.
Yeah, but at the same time, you can't expect them to be 24 hours a day. You know what I mean?
I'm not expecting them to be 24 hours, but when it's not a bye week, if you got a game, you're going on the road. I don't know who they were playing that week, but let me see. I got to look this. This pissed me off.
I can tell.
You're going on the road. They were at Tennessee. They were at Tennessee, right? No.
It's Tennessee. Come on.
Still, though, you're going on the road. You're taking a road trip across the freaking country. And
Tennessee's basically a bye week.
You're at the Dodger game. I want you locked in. You're making too much money to be out between. It was Lakers, which was okay. I think that was after a Thursday night game, right? That was like a Friday after. That's fine. But you're going to a Dodger game on a Tuesday? Come on.
Well, speaking of Justin Herbert, he is my first player prop pick from this game. I'll take him under 252.5. He went under this in back-to-back games against the Vikings and against the Titans. Did have 420 against the Colts the week before that, but that's because the Colts scored 38 points, and they were chasing that entire game. Overall, he has kind of been – it's like he has 2 unders, 2 overs, 2 unders, 2 overs. That's kind of been the pattern that he's followed this season. Now, the Steelers' defense has been terrible. Obviously, they're moving Ramsey there. They're trying to figure it out on the back end. They showed signs of it last week. They did a real number on the Colts. The biggest thing for me, though, is just Herbert not having his starting tackles. He's been under so much pressure. I think the Chargers are going to really try to dig into what has been Harbaugh's identity most of his coaching career, which is running the football. I think Herbert could play a good game. He could also play a bad game. But either way, I just don't think it sets up for him to have this huge day on the box score, especially because I also don't expect the Steelers to go there and score 35 points. I think this is like a 20-17 sort of deal in primetime.
Yeah, I think it's that kind of game too. I think this is one that's going to be close, and obviously the spread indicates it's going to be close. I wouldn't think that the Steelers traveling across the country would be a 2.5-point underdog. I thought it would be a little more against a team like the Chargers, but that just shows where both teams are at right now. Steelers coming off a big win. I think they carry that momentum. I'm going to go with DK Metcalf over 49.5 receiving yards in this one. When you look at DK Metcalf, they got to get him involved. Like they really do. If they don't, they're going to be in trouble. The Chargers defensively right now, they are, let me pull this up, passing wise, one of the best passing defenses in the NFL right now. But I still think in this one, I mean, I know you're going with the under on Justin Herbert. I think this is a spot where if you are the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Chargers have the capability of scoring, and the Steelers defense, credit to them last week, but overall they haven't been that good this season. If the Chargers do get going, you're going to need a guy to step up, and that is DK Metcalf. You got to start getting the ball to him more consistently, and this is a big game to do it in.
Well, I would take DK Metcalf as an anytime touchdown scorer, plus 165 on that. He's scored in 5 of 8, 5 of 9 games, whatever the number is. And Rodgers is one of those old school quarterbacks. You see what you saw with Flacco as soon as he got to Cincinnati. I'm going to identify my number one target, and I'm looking at his way every time I need a completion. Rodgers did that with Devontae Adams for a very long time. DK is that guy, especially in these scoring situations. You see a lot of back shoulder fades to DK and stuff like that in the red zone. So I think there's good value on there on him to score. And then speaking of Aaron Rodgers, I think you'll like this one because you normally like when I take these kinds of props. Yep. Take Aaron Rodgers over 0.5 rushing yards.
I just saw that on the book. I was going to bring that up. I just saw it.
Yeah. So if you look at his recent games now, he had 0 rushing yards in back-to-back weeks. Did carry the ball twice last week, which is good. He had 6 yards the week before that, then 1, then 8, then 1, then 3. And in the season opener, -1 yards, but he did get a carry. And in my mind, 1 carry is enough to get you 1 yard. So he has at least 1 carry in every game except for 1 this season. So Aaron Rodgers, come on, a little bit of pressure, scramble out the pocket, nice 1 yard gain, get us the over.
I don't see them being in like victory formation either much in this game. Like I don't know. Maybe they will be. I don't know. It feels like it's a 3-point game. So if they do take a knee at the end, you're in trouble there. But like the Chargers should win this game. They 100% should, with the Steelers flying across the country, no matter where they are with injury. So I like that play too, Grant. I was going to give that one for a play, but I'll just piggyback off you. Good play.
Thank you. I love those props, man. They're
fun. They're fun. Anything else in this game before we move into Monday night?
Let's go to Monday.
All right. Why don't you intro it?
Okay, Monday Night Football. The lights are bright. NFC Championship game preview, perhaps. Philadelphia Eagles on the road taking on the Green Bay Packers. Tanner and I here to give you our favorite betting picks from this matchup. Now, you and I have both been hesitant to buy into the Packers hype train, but at the same time, the Eagles, even though they are very high in the odds, I haven't checked recently, they might be favored to win the NFC. Obviously, they won the NFC. They won the Super Bowl last year. So it's a matchup between two teams that are right there in that contending status, but Eagles haven't looked the same way they did last year. Packers maybe not fully proven that they're at the level that the odds suggest they are. So, Tanner, how do you see this game going?
The Eagles. Give me everything. Say right. Bye week. More time to prepare. The Packers are terrible. They are not good. I wish they wouldn't have beaten the Lions to open the season because that skewed everyone's mentality on this team. They are not the team that beat the Lions at the beginning of the season. The Lions are just inconsistent football team. The Packers, Jordan Love throws freaking lollipops. Defensively, I don't know if I'm going to get, I don't know what I'm going to get. I have no clue. It doesn't matter. And sometimes they get a pass rush. Other times they don't. Signing Micah Parsons didn't make much of a difference on your defense. And then on the flip side, offensively, it's just a team that turns the ball over. So I don't know. It's not good. I don't like it.
I'm all over the Eagles as well in this game, especially coming off of a bye week. We have said this so many times. It's boring to look at who's coming off a bye week, but boy, does it matter. I get it that, you're going to Green Bay, you're playing on the road. That's the Eagles' preferred environment. They want a cold weather game at nighttime in prime time. That just fits who they are. Now, yes, they can't stop going 3 and out to start the game. Saquon can't get going. They've got problems in the secondary. I get all of that, but they still win games. That's the one thing you say about the Eagles. Through it all, they win games. Whereas the Packers, they find ways to lose games now. That's one of the issues. Jordan Love is making the worst decisions you'll ever see. And it's so weird because he'll play great for 3 quarters, or at least his decision-making, his processing will be great. And then he just turns his brain off and hands the game away. And the fact they couldn't close that game out against the Panthers And I've been beating the drum saying, hey, the Panthers are actually a respectable team this year. So I'm a Panthers guy. But the fact the Packers couldn't close that out as 13.5-point favorites on their home field, I believe, it says a lot about how they actually stack up in this NFC.
Did they lose to the Browns at home too?
I don't know if it was at home, but they did lose to the Browns.
Cleveland. I think the Browns were in brown jerseys that game. They were.
It was in Cleveland.
It was in Cleveland. Still, no excuse. You're a double-digit favorite in both games, and good teams don't lose twice in a season as double-digit favorites. I'll say that. Give me the Eagles. If the Eagles don't win the game, it wouldn't be the most surprising thing in the world because, like you said, this is a game that favors the Packers. Blah blah blah. We'll find a way. Coming off a bad loss, but the Eagles are just better. They're better, and they've got a rest advantage. Like, give me the Eagles. I'd probably tease the Eagles up. This is a good teaser game. It's a really good teaser game.
So I'll start us off here with an Eagles player prop. It's just an easy one. Jalen Hurts, anytime touchdown scorer, plus 120. This is going to be a physical game. Again, run the ball, cold weather, nighttime, prime time. Everything about that screams tush push. Jalen has scored in more than half of his games this year, yet they're giving you plus 120 odds on it. So if my expected value is he's more likely to score than not, and you're giving me more than bet $1 to win $1, mathematically, that just screams to me that I should be taking that. So I'm not going to hesitate. I'll do that.
I like that as well. My touchdown score in this game, obviously Josh Jacobs, good parlay piece. If he doesn't score, they're not in the game at all. So, another strategy, you could take Josh Jacobs touchdown score. You could also take the Eagles to cover. If Jacobs doesn't score, chances are the Eagles are going to win the game. Because if they can't get their run game going, it's going to be pretty hard. But that's a parlay piece. The real one I'll be taking, A.J. Brown. Every time I seem to call out an A.J. Brown touchdown on this podcast, it happens. I think, cold weather game. They're still going to have to throw the ball a little bit, though. They've been getting A.J. Brown more involved. He's the guy who's going to score plus 160.
Okay, I'll give you one that I really like here. And I have a feeling it's not going to be very popular, but I'm going to take Luke Musgrave over 28.5 receiving yards. So Tucker Kraft was the Packers' #1 receiver this year from the tight end slot. Musgrave is someone who's very capable of stepping in. He was a second-round draft pick a couple of years ago. They're going to trust him. Love has liked what he's seen in that middle of the field stuff. Obviously, your tight end also is usually the one who draws mismatches. And then Musgrave last week, Tucker Kraft goes out in the middle of the game with a knee injury. Musgrave comes in, 3 catches for 34 yards without playing the entire game. And again, Tucker Kraft was the leading receiver on this team. Now, Musgrave's not quite as good as Kraft, but is he terrible? No, he's still a good player, and he's going to get those looks from Love. They'll be able to set him up, allow the play action they use, stuff like that. So this is basically 2 catches, and he can get that.
Yeah, second-round pick, like that play. Kid out of Oregon State there. Good call by you, Grant. It's a good one. My next play here, I'm going to take Josh Jacobs. I'm going to go over 70.5 rushing yards. The way that the Vic Fangio defenses play, you're not going to give up the deep shots through the air. You're going to keep everything in front of you. And again, if the Packers want to play their game in this one, it's taking the ball out of Jordan Love's hands. You don't have Tucker Kraft now. The throwing's probably going to be a little more limited, even though I do like the Luke Musgrave play. You got to get Josh Jacobs going. You got to consistently feed him the football and get back on track. And 70.5 is pretty low considering I do think he's going to get a ton of carries in this game.
And that's perfect because I also like Jordan Love under 20.5 completions in this game. Now, he did go over in back-to-back weeks, 26 against the Panthers, 29 against the Steelers. However, he went under in 5 of 6 immediately before that. This does set up to be a lower scoring game. Good defense of the Eagles. Josh Jacobs could average something like 3.4 yards per carry in this game and still have 85 rushing yards because they're going to hand it to him 23, 25 times. That's the way I see this game going. I don't see it being a lot of attempts, meaning not a lot of completions for Love.
Yeah, definitely. Good call by you, Grant. Anything else on this one?
I'm good. I'm good with our picks here.
I'm good too. This is a good slate. You talk about a really fun NFL weekend slate. I mean, you get to sit down on Sunday. You watch the Bucs play against the Pats at 1:00. You can watch Ravens Vikings is a huge game there. Not a lot of great games in the 1:00 slate, but that's a big one because the Ravens storyline. 4:30. No, Bucs is at 1 too. And then the 4:30, you got the Rams and the 49ers. And the 2 primetime games this week. It's hard to find better primetime games. Justin Herbert's probably at the Lakers game tonight, though. So,
yeah, I'm excited.
All right, Grant, let's finish it off with a couple NBA picks here.
The big five here on Ride the Line. Tanner and I are going to give you our 5 best NBA betting picks of the day. I'll get us rolling with number 1, with a man who's been in the headlines. No, not for shooting guns, but just because he's angry at his coach. I'll take Ja Morant over 22.5 points. Now, Ja's only averaging 20 points this season. Reportedly, he is barely speaking to his head coach. He got suspended a game for conduct detrimental to the team because he said the coaching is the reason he's struggling. It's bad. It looks like it's headed for an ugly end. Ja, again, averaging 20 points on 38% shooting, but he is better than a 38% shooter. That's the way I look at it. He's taking his shots. Naturally, he's going to start to make more of them. He's also facing a Dallas Mavericks team that you would think, because they're massive, they would have a great defense. They'll be able to lock down the interior. They give up more points in the paint than any team in the NBA. So I think, again, he's going to take his shots. He can make, if we can get that to 42% against the defense, he can get over this.
Yeah, I like it. I'm going to go with Jalen Brown under 26.5 points in this one. Brown's averaging 27 on the season, but away from home, the Celtics have the 6th lowest scoring offense in the NBA on the road this season. They don't play at a high pace. And when it comes to the Celtics, they're boom or bust. They're going to shoot their threes. And this is a game where the Celtics, coming off a big win against I think it was Washington here, lost to Utah as a double-digit favorite, then came back, beat Washington. I think this is a spot against Orlando where they kind of come back and don't necessarily get the best performance tonight. So I think the Magic win. I think Jalen Brown has a rough game because he's due for one. I mean, he's been putting up 30+ point nights every night pretty much. So I'll take Jalen Brown under 26.5.
Over under 0.5 fake hairline smears. What are we going there?
Over. Also, too, with the Celtics, they got to stop complaining about the refs. They got to stop complaining. They can't shoot 11 for 50 from the 3-point line. It's embarrassing.
That's the Luka strategy. If you can't make a shot, you just start blaming the refs.
Yeah, it was a foul the other night, the Utah game. It was a foul on Jalen Brown at the end, but still, you can't shoot 11 for 50 from the 3-point line. It's embarrassing.
I'm going to go with Nikola Vucevic under 1.5 threes. Now, he's been really good for the Bulls, who have had a great start to the year. Vucevic is shooting 48.4% from 3. But despite that efficiency, he did go under this line in 4 of 7 games, was only 1 of 5 from downtown in his last game. Bulls are facing the Milwaukee Bucks. The Bucks defense isn't great, but they are 12th in 3-point percentage allowed, 13th in made threes allowed, so better than league average. Their 2 interior guys, Giannis Antetokounmpo and Miles Turner, they're comfortable going out to the perimeter as well. So the fact that it's a center, he's not really drawing mismatches. Those guys actually probably want to be out there on the perimeter. So I think he'll go under.
Definitely. My next play here, Jaren Jackson Jr. over 17.5 points tonight. Matchup against the Mavericks is really good for power forwards. They're giving up a lot of shot attempts to power forwards. You look at the Grizzlies, they play quick pace in the NBA over their past 9 games as well. Offensive rebounds, I think, are also going to be huge for Jaren Jackson Jr. tonight. The Mavericks are giving up a lot of offensive rebounds, and the Grizzlies are going to grab them too. That's been one of their best parts of their game. So Jaren Jackson Jr. over 17.5 points tonight. Absolutely love this play.
And then I'll close us out here. I'll go with Victor Wembanyama, the French sensation. I'll take him over 25.5 points against the Houston Rockets. Now, Houston has a phenomenal defense, and they did a number on Wemby the last couple of seasons whenever they faced him. However, Wemby loves to get up for big games, particularly against players, standout players at his position. For example, he's got this rivalry with Chet Holmgren. Apparently, this entire offseason, the reports are Wemby was obsessed with Chet. It burned him that the Thunder had won a title and Chet had won a title before him. And that gives me so much confidence in Wemby, because the only person that still compares Chet Holmgren to Wemby is Wemby himself. It's like that crazy killer mentality, and he has it. So he's going up against Alperen Şengün, who's not an MVP candidate, but he's a very good center, and he's had a very good start to the year, and he has gotten the better of these individual matchups with Wemby the last couple of seasons. Wemby was phenomenal to start the year. Over his last 2 games, only averaging 14 points on 32% shooting in those. So I think you're not going to find a spot where he's going to have more motivation than he will going into this game. It's an in-state matchup as well. You're going to get your fans traveling well because the teams aren't that far apart. So I think it's a big night for him. He's going to have some 35, 14, 6 blocks in a win for the Spurs.
He always does. He's a baller. He's a baller. Anyways, Grant, That was Ride the Line, the greatest podcast in sports betting entertainment. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. We talked some TNF. We talked a little picks for the weekend in the NFL. We talked some NBA picks as well. So make sure you guys keep tuning in. We're going to be posting some clips on the channel, some shorts. Smash that subscribe button. We just hit 300 subscribers. That's a big deal. Went past the 300 marks. We're on to 400 now. So keep subscribing, guys. We appreciate it. And Grant, take us out of here.
That's going to do it for this episode of Ride the Line. Tanner and I appreciate all of you joining us. Real quick, once again, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, jump in the comments, let us know what your favorite picks are, and we will catch you all in the next episode of Ride the Line.